Norway is a narrow and mountainous country, stretching for over 1,000 miles from north to south, with narrowest span of 4 miles. After arriving in Oslo, we immediately flew to Bergen, the first stop of our journey. Our hostel is located in Bergen's historical center, Bergenhus. Take cable car to the top of Mount Ulriken and enjoy the panoramic view of Bergen from the highest mountain in Bergen.
Bergenhus festning,
located at the entrance of Bergen Harbor, is one of the oldest and best preserved stone fortifications in Norway. During World War II, Bergen, like other major Norwegian cities, was occupied by the Germans on the first day of the invasion. This is 900-year-old Bergen Cathedral, one of the 3 medieval churches in Bergen. St. Mary's Church, the oldest existing building in Bergen. We are now at the
Hellesylt Museum,
showcasing the history of the Hanseatic League period over 600 years ago. Bryggen, the old wharf in Bergen, is a very special relic of the Hanseatic era. Strolling through the narrow alleys, imagine the everyday life of the Hanseatic League merchants from northern Germany. Saying goodbye to Bergen and moving on to the next journey. We begin with a boat tour of Nærøyfjord and Ålesund, the 2 branches off of the main Sognefjord, to reach Flåm. Then, we take bus to Hellesylt, and pass by the Norwegian Glacier Museum on the way. Finally, take fjord cruise from Geiranger to our final destination of this journey, Ålesund. On a train to Voss. Where we transferred to a bus to
Gudvangen.
heading to Gudvangen jetty. On the way there, we visited the Viking village of Njardarheim, meaning home of the Norse god. This is a real Viking village, inhabited by real Vikings, who adopt the Viking age as a lifestyle.
Shines als drauf.
They built turf houses, which allowed settlers from the Viking era to survive in extremely cold climates, can still withstand harsh winters today. Our cruise ship set sail from Gudvangen, first sailing along the Nærøyfjord, then turning into the Ålesund, and finally arriving at Flåm.
Ålesund
Is the most pristine, and perhaps the most beautiful branch of
Sognefjord.
with steep cliffs and magnificent waterfalls on both sides of the fjord. As its name suggests in Norwegian,
Nærøyfjord
is widely regarded as the narrowest fjord in the world, as its narrowest point is only 250 meters. 2 hours later, we arrived at Flåm. Visiting Flåm Railway Museum. Here you see a model railroad layout of Flåm, a locomotive of type EL9, which brings you into the history and construction of the famous Flåm Railway. Then, we boarded a Flamsbana train, on the iconic journey from Flåm to Mordal and back. The Flåm line, built 100 years ago, makes its way at a maximum height of 863 meters in less than an hour, over a distance of 13 kilometers, making it one of the steepest railways on the planet. Rallerbergen, the original Navies road used to construct the scenic Flåm Railway, is now a popular bike route with 21 hairpin bends. The train stopped in front of
Kjosfossen
Waterfall, one of the most famous waterfalls in Norway. As we were taking a short break, we heard a singing voice coming from behind the cliff. A mysterious woman appeared, dancing to a Norwegian folk song. She is the Huldra, a forest spirit from Norse mythology. According to local folklore, she lures men into the woods to seduce them. We were lucky, because the acting of the myth only happens in summer. Experiencing our bus being transported by a ferry boat to cross the fjord.
Bergen klarer 14-15 minutter, så er tilbake ved Hellesylt.
Day 5. Visiting the Boyabring Glacier, a branch of the Jostedalbring Glacier, the largest in Norway and even on the European continent. Visiting the Norwegian Glacier Museum. The panoramic movie introduces the Jostedalbring Glacier, the largest glacier on mainland Europe, and now a national park. A scene of Ötzi the Iceman as he was discovered in 1991, and the latest research about this 5,300-year-old natural mummy. The reason why we can witness this miracle today is because his mummified body was protected by the glacier. Based on study of the findings from the Iceman, researchers have reconstructed a Neolithic hunter's outfit. In
Stryn,
we stayed in a place called
Stryn kaffebar og vertshus,
with a restaurant on the first floor. Day 6. Take bus to Hellesylt, then ferry to Geiranger, and continue to Ålesund in the afternoon. Hellesylt, the gateway to Geirangerfjord, is a charming small village, with a dedicated deep-water cruise pier, that attracts thousands of cruise tourists from around the world every day. After 3 hours of sailing, we arrived at Ålesund. This place is called
Destinasjon Ålesund og Sunnmøre,
meaning where mountain meets fjord. A devastating fire in 1904 left much of Ålesund in ashes. The rebuilding resulted in a city that contains some of Europe's finest examples of Art Nouveau architecture. Enjoying a panorama view of the city and surrounding islands, on Storhaugen, a hilltop, and green area in Ålesund. You can see the observation deck on Mount Axla from many parts of the city. Boarding a Hurtigruten port-to-port ferry from Ålesund to Svolvær